Hello, I'm Richard Seltzer. I'd like to share with you my favorite book, The Lizard of Oz, which I self-published 46 years ago. I'm going to read to you the new, improved, and expanded edition which I just finished writing and which is not in print. I'll make a separate video for each chapter. The original edition had illustrations by Christin Couture. I'll show you one of those pictures at the end of this video. Chapter 18, Mr. Shermin. Cloud 9 was still on top of Mount Parnassus. They were lucky that it hadn't drifted away. So Miss Osborne gave everybody sunglasses from Plato's package, and they all climbed in or were on the little green VW and rode slowly and carefully down the path to the right toward home. Going down the mountain wasn't at all like going up. Nothing looked the same, and it seemed they'd never get to the bottom of it all. But they did. And there, at the foot of Mount Parnassus, stood Mr. Bacon's library. Miss Shelby went right back to teaching Mr. Newman how to read. She picked up one of the books they had looked at before and read, "Her name was Yesterday and her mother Tomorrow, and they loved her very much." Miss Osborne found a copy of Alice in Wonderland, one that had a photo of Mr. Carroll in the dust jacket. After that, she always carried that book wherever she went. Cindy was running toward her. "Mr. Sherman is acting funny, Miss Osborne," she said. "He's swimming back and forth in the fishbowl, and the water around his head is boiling." "Boiling?" asked Miss Osborne. "I hope nothing's wrong. He hasn't said anything in the longest time." Class gathered around the fishbowl. "He looks very depressed," said Gaynell. Mr. Sherman said in a voice that everyone could hear, "What's the point of it all? I don't know most everything. There are all these lands that I never dreamed of. I don't even know all the questions, much less the answers. I've just been living in a fishbowl." "Gosh," said Donnie, "he's knocking his head against the wall." "Quick," ordered Miss Osborne, "hand me that fishbowl. If we don't stop him, he might crack it." She reached inside the bowl to try to stop him, but no, it cracked and the water spilled on the floor. Mr. Bacon came rushing up. "Barbarians," he shouted, "what are you doing now, breaking fish bowls and spilling water all over my library?" But he stopped short in shock, for there stood Mr. Sherman, the teacher, wearing glasses, smoking a pipe, and standing in a puddle of water and broken glass. "Gosh," said Donnie, "Mr. Sherman's a person again." "Welcome, how do you do?" said Miss Osborne. Welcome back, Mr. Sherman." She stumbled over her words, trying to figure out what had just happened and what might happen next. The kids were glad to have Mr. Sherman back as a teacher. "You were much more fun as a teacher than as a fish," Gaynell said, giggling. Mr. Sherman said, "Not so fast now. I'm not about to go back to my old ways. No, I won't be a teacher, and I won't be going back to Winthrop, not right away at least. I want to go to the underworld and talk to Mr. Plato. After that, I don't know, but you just may see me again." Then he turned to Mr. Bacon and said, "You're just the man I wanted to see. I'll be needing a backpack and some climbing boots and books, lots of books. I'll need a lot to eat along the way." Soon Mr. Sherman, with a heavy load of books, started the long trek back down the mountain, all alone. Watching him leave, Miss Osborne sighed. "If only we could find the promised one," Miss Shelby asked. "Miss Osborne, who's that?" "Mr. Plato said there's a legend about a promised one who will bring back the fire of enchantment from Oz and Om." Mr. Bacon interrupted. "What's your name again?" "Miss Osborne." "Of course," concluded Mr. Bacon. "You may be the one. Osborne, born for Oz. Oz is your destiny. You were born for this quest. There's no way you can abandon it and just go home." "Or maybe it's Miss Shelby," added Mr. Newman. "She shall be. Whatever shall be, shall be." I want to show you one of the pictures from the first edition of The Lizard. This picture by Christin Couture is a picture of Mr. Sherman as a teacher who's about to leave. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Please watch the rest of the story. I'm making a separate video of each of the 27 chapters. Feedback welcome. My name again is Richard Seltzer, As an Alka-Seltzer, my email is seltzer@seltzerbooks.com. All Things That Matter Press recently published 3 novels of mine, Parallel Lives, Beyond the Fourth Door, and Nevermind. You can find those all at Amazon as paperbacks and as ebooks. They can be read in any order. They're independent stories with overlapping theme and styles. Each presents a different view of reality, a different way of trying to make sense of the mysteries of life.